Welcome to the Gifted Education Update 2023. The Gifted Education Update became a tradition, I'm only guessing, but maybe 15 years ago. And for many years, it was an on-site opportunity to catch up with what's going on in gifted education in the Commonwealth. And of course, as everything's shifted to online, about 4 years ago, we realized that it was time for us to go online as well. And we welcome you here today. I think it's really important for all of us to know what's current in gifted education in our state. And the Gifted Education Update has always been co-sponsored by the Kentucky Association for Gifted Education and the Center for Gifted Studies at Western Kentucky University. As we update, it would be really nice to know who's on and where you're from. So you might just put that in the chat. And I will introduce Toddy Adams. Dr. Adams is the gifted coordinator in Marshall County, and she is the president of the Kentucky Association for Gifted Education. Welcome, Dr. Adams.
Thank you so much. I'm so proud to be here today and be a part of the update. And what I would like to do is give you all just a quick update on upcoming CAGE events and things that are important with CAGE. First of all, we have the CAGE virtual fall workshop that's coming up on October 18th from 5 to 8:30 Eastern Time. I'd like for you all to know that early bird registration ends on September 15th, so go ahead and register for that now. What we're going to do is look at social emotional needs of gifted children. Dr. Lynette Breedlove and Dr. Ed Amend are going to be presenting at the fall workshop, and PD and ELA credit are going to be available. You know, we need to remember that even if you think about, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if we meet those social emotional needs first and give those children a solid foundation, that's where they can go on to work on their high ability. But we need to meet those very basic needs first. So this is a lot of important information that you all can use and will really benefit gifted educators and their students. Remember that February is Gifted Education Month, and we start that off with a proclamation signing in Frankfort. They love to see students there. If you can plan ahead now that the pandemic is over and we can all be together, this is a great way to celebrate gifted education, is to be part of the proclamation signing. And to have the rotunda full of children is just a wonderful thing to see. So keep that in mind for February. February, of course, is our CAGE annual conference. It will be on February 26th and 27th at the Griffin Gate in Lexington. You may want to go ahead and register now and also book your hotel room, because that block of rooms that CAGE, has for the conference, those can go fast. So think about not only registering, but also booking your hotel room. We have so many quality speakers that are going to be sharing pertinent information to meet the needs of our gifted learners and our gifted educators. Whether you're working with documentation or you're a GT teacher working with kids, we are going to have something for you. But I do want to mention that if you have research-based strategies and if you have knowledge and experience that you would like to share, I highly encourage you to submit a proposal. We want to hear, most of all, from people across the state of the good things that they're doing and share, so we can get those best practices in districts all across the state. The due date to submit a proposal is September 29th. And if you look in the chat, Tyler is dropping the links in there as I speak. So you can either go to cagegifted.org, and all of the links are there for everything that I'm going to be talking about, but they're also in the chat if that's easier for you. I want to mention that at the CAGE conference, we present the Distinguished Student Award. This used to be limited to elementary students, but we are now accepting nominations for gifted students 5th through 8th grades. I have to say, our past recipients have included just phenomenal children who have made such a difference in their communities. So just please keep your eyes and ears open for these gifted learners that are making a difference in their communities or in their schools. We want to celebrate them and we want to recognize them on a state level. Put the word out to, gifted coordinators and gifted teachers, and let's get some nominations in there. These kids really deserve it. Those nominations are due on November the 1st. And please also remember that we have service and advocacy awards to recognize educators as well who have made an impact on gifted education. And those nominations are also due on November 1st. I'd like to mention that in our CAGE newsletter, we have a district spotlight where we love to highlight gifted education across the Commonwealth. If you, in your districts, if you submit a picture, if you submit bullet points of wonderful things that you're doing in your district with gifted education, we will even do the write-up for it if you don't want to write an actual article. But send us the information, send us an article if you would like, along with the picture so that we can celebrate you and what you're doing, and those good things should be recognized. I'd like to remind everyone that in Region 1, we have a vacancy on the CAGE board, and we will welcome your applications if you would like to represent the region. So please, be mindful of that. And if you feel like you would like to volunteer on the CAGE board and commit some time to that and some good thinking, we welcome those applications. We would like every region to be represented with our 2 people. Last of all, I would like to encourage any gifted educators, administrators, general education teachers, undergrad and graduate students and parents, lend your voice to advocacy in gifted education. And one way you can do that is by being a CAGE member. In advocacy work, it's not about money that can be raised. It is about numbers of members. Because when we go to Frankfurt, when we go to Washington, D.C., when we can say that we are representing a high number of people across our state, that's when people start listening to us. Membership is only $30 a year. That is not a lot, even for an undergraduate student, especially for veteran teachers and administrators. But lend your voice to advocacy and be a part of making just some wonderful changes in gifted education that are much needed. We are always moving forward, and we would love to continue forward with you. So just keep in mind, if you are in gifted education, be a part of advocacy by joining CAGE. When you join CAGE, we have several benefits. You get discount to conferences, you get the CAGE newsletter, you get support, you get the most wonderful networking opportunities, which is probably one of the most important parts. But most of all, you're part of just such a beautiful cause to support gifted children and gifted educators. So I really encourage you to become a CAGE member. Please remember that all of the links to what I have mentioned are in the chat. They're also on cagegifted.org if you want to go there. It's the website is just so easy to navigate. And I just hope everyone enjoys today's update on gifted education. So Dr. Roberts, thank you so much for letting me talk a little bit about CAGE.
Well, Dr. Adams, I have a couple of questions for you.
Absolutely.
We have a virtual fall conference coming up on social emotional needs. How would that be beneficial for parents to know about?
There are children who, here's the best way I know to say it. We know that the squeaky wheel gets the oil or gets the grease, but gifted children tend to squeak in a different way. And you may not know that there are strengths or weaknesses or social emotional issues if you don't know how they're squeaking, so to say. So anytime that we can get educated about our children and those unique needs that gifted children have, we need to get that information so we can recognize what's going on and make informed decisions for the benefit of our children.
So I hear you saying it would be very important for parents to be learning about the social emotional needs of gifted children as well as educators. Is that right?
That is absolutely right. Those little brains are on all the time and they work and work, and parents need to recognize what's going on with their kids so they can, foster that in the kids instead of being maybe a little bit ignorant of what is going on. This is the perfect opportunity to learn.
So virtual fall conference for parents and educators. So make sure those of you who are on this uh, webinar today share that information broadly. Another question. As recently as yesterday, I had an inquiry about creating a CAGE chapter. What kind of help would CAGE provide for anyone who is interested in establishing a CAGE chapter?
Cage chapters can really work autonomously, but Cage is always there to support. And because we have CAGE chapters across the state, we have people that are very familiar with the very basic logistics of maybe how many times to meet, what the purpose is, because CAGE chapters are really about outreach to parents and to the community and to get that support on a local level. So when it comes to whether you want to collect dues or not, whether you want your CAGE chapter members to be actual CAGE members or not, we can give all the pros and cons. We can help with whether it's logistics or what is it that you need to highlight during your meetings. There is plenty of experience on the CAGE board to help whoever is in our region set that up. And of course, nowadays with social media and with things being virtual, it's even easier to have a CAGE chapter than it used to be and to get the word out there. So yes, we can definitely help with that.
And it's very important if you as a gifted educator want to have lots of support for what you want to do, a strong chapter at the local level could do worlds of good for you.
Absolutely. And I'll give you an example. And of course, COVID just really, put a kink in a lot of plans, I'll be honest. But in Marshall County, we have traditionally had our CAGE chapter, Marshall County CAGE, meet in the fall. And that's when we presented like a gifted 101. That was really geared toward the parents of elementary students. And we gave a big overview of how kids were identified, the services that were provided, because these parents had never been a part of gifted education. And then in the spring is when we focused on middle school and high school. That's when we have Gatton Academy representatives come out. That's when we would have Craft Academy representatives come out. And then we also had our time to talk about gifted services at the middle and high school level. That was just our choice. And it worked very well for us. So we had the autonomy to choose what we wanted to do, but then we had the CAGE members that could also guide us and say, this might be a good idea. So that's just one example.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adams. You've given us lots of good information and you've explained, presented ideas that we all want to be a part of. So thank you very much.
You are so welcome. Thank you.
So as I said in the beginning, today is co-sponsored by CAGE and by the Center for Gifted Studies, and I'm going to represent the Center for Gifted Studies and say welcome and share with you some slides about opportunities that we'll be offering through the Center for Gifted Studies. One of the areas of gifted ed that is so misunderstood ties in with twice exceptional students. These are the children who are gifted, but they also have a learning difference. We will be hosting a one-day professional learning opportunity on October the 18th on twice exceptional students. Dr. Matt Fugate, one of the best in the country on this particular topic, will be here to present. And like when we talked about the social emotional needs, for twice exceptional learners, parents need to be well informed, as well as the regular classroom teacher, the gifted educator, and the special educator. So if you have twice exceptional students, and I'm betting that you do, it is very important for them to be learning and to working as a team to address the needs of these children. Make sure that the information is out in your school and your district about this one-day workshop that will be held at WKU. Another opportunity that we have is going to be looking at a report that was issued in June of this year on, and the name of the report is Building a Wider, More Diverse Pipeline of Advanced Learners. This is a one-day workshop, and Dr. Jonathan Plucker will be explaining a little bit about this report later this morning on our webinar today. On November the 30th, he'll be at WKU doing a full day. Once again, it would be wonderful to have a team of people who can make decisions and move forward with planning to build a wider, more diverse pipeline for advanced learning. Another opportunity, and this time we're looking at children. Super Saturdays at WKU is offered in the fall, and then a separate session in the winter. Yesterday, we posted registration for the fall session that offers opportunities for children from 1st through 6th grade. So spread the word. Another opportunity for young people is of a different type, and it is all about service learning. I think it is so important for our children in general, our gifted children in particular, to be doing things for others. That's what service learning is all about. It's about finding a challenge in the community and working to address that problem in some way that young people, perhaps with the help of adults, can work to make the situation better. The grants are open to Kentucky students in grades 7 through 12. And there are two types of grants. One is open for anyone in those grades, and the other is open to young people who've come to SCATS, FAMP, or are attending the Gatton Academy. The proposal for the Doctors Modi Service Learning Opportunity is up on the center's website, and the applications are due October the 15th. These grants have funding that is provided to reach the goal of the project. I do believe that all of our children need to be thinking of themselves as not only accomplishing for themselves, but doing for others. And that's what service learning is all about. And of course, we've got our signature programs that we've been doing for a long time. SCATS, the Summer Camp for Academically Talented Middle School Students, is offered for 2 weeks in June. It's non-residential, but it's mainly residential, with children coming from across Kentucky, across the country, to learn together and to make friendships that often last a lifetime. It's it's always fun for me to hear of someone who, and we've done this for 40 years, so we've had plenty of opportunities for children to grow up and let me know that someone they met at SCADS or VAMP has stood up with them at their wedding, or that some other way their friendship has lasted over a long, long time. And the other signature program, of course, is VAMP, where SCADS is a 2-week residential program. VAMP is 3 weeks, where the young people take one class for 6 hours a day. And you might groan and say, oh my goodness, why would you want to do that? Well, please know that these young people, 7th through 10th graders, are interested in the topic. They're eager to learn about it. And often they mark the calendar for how many days it is till they come back the next year for VAMP. So the Center for Gifted Studies offers many opportunities for educators for professional learning. And we do that for various role groups, for superintendents, for principals, for counselors, and certainly for gifted resource teachers, regular classroom teachers, and special educators. We offer lots of programming also for young people, and there are many times that parents are addressed in their needs by opportunities that we have. One opportunity that was not on a slide is the Idea Festival, which brings middle and high school young people to WKU for a day to think about innovation, to think about creativity, both by listening to people who have experiences innovating and by hands-on opportunities in the afternoon to do things for themselves. And I would always tell you that minds-on is more important than hands-on, but minds-on plus hands-on is magic in terms of learning. So as we